Yesterday was the NBA draft, and the lead up to the draft, I read an interesting article that tried to project who has a chance to be a star as opposed to who might be the best pick for a certain team. And I'll put the link below. And then as I was driving today, I listened to a podcast with Tim Ferriss talking to Mark Andreessen, the founder of Netscape and now a venture capitalist. And one of the things that he talked about was when they're looking at companies to invest, they look for a company or founders that have something great about them, even if there's a lot of problems, as opposed to having a lot of good. And so to me, it was kind of the article and Andreessen in the podcast were talking about the same thing, and a little bit that's what we look at when we look at potential. So if you're drafting for the NBA or if you're recruiting a player, you want them to have something that makes them great or gives them the potential to be great. So, size or athleticism or maybe shooting ability or passing, but something that makes them into a great player or a potential for a great player, as opposed to someone who has a lot of good attributes. So somebody who's okay at shooting and okay at passing and okay at defense likely is going to have a harder time moving to the next level than somebody who has one great skill and then can use that skill to earn playing time and then try to supplement that great skill. So I always tell, when I was young, everybody always said, if you can defend, a coach will find a place for you. In today's game, I think if you can shoot, you have a chance. And so if you can make a team, like somebody like a J.J. Redick or Kyle Korver, they originally made, the NBA because they're such great shooters. And then as their careers have gone on, they've become more and more competent and good as defenders and all-around passers, all-around players to supplement that. Conversely, you look at, somebody like a DeAndre Jordan or a Hassan Whiteside, people who essentially made the NBA originally because of their size and athleticism, ability to block shots, change the game on the defensive end, and now they've supplemented that skill as their careers have gone along and become a little bit better offensively and especially becoming dynamic on a pick and roll situation. So, the typical way that most people look at it is, well, he's pretty good here, he's pretty good here, he's pretty good, so he's going to be a good player. But it's a different way to look at it, thinking about, well, what is one outstanding thing that, that player can do? And then can we supplement that one outstanding thing and help that player earn minutes and then ultimately become a rotation player or even a star in the NBA. So again, I thought it was an interesting parallel between, venture capitalists, the way they look at companies and funding companies, and also the way that, this writer was looking at NBA draft prospects. Because in a certain extent, while it sounds bad, because these are people's lives that we're talking about, franchises, especially NBA franchises, make investments in players, and they want to be able to recoup that investment as opposed to, in terms of getting returns in on-court performance or potentially having trade value. So it's kind of the same way that an investor wants to recoup their investment into a company, either when the company goes public or, by being able to sell their shares or whatever. So, again, I don't like to look at people as commodities, but to a certain extent, that's what drafting is adding value to your business or your franchise. And so what's the best way to go about that? Is that picking somebody who has, good here, good here, good here, or picking somebody who's great or outstanding at one thing and then trying to fill in the holes in their game around that great skill?